All right, good people. We back for part two after a short little break. But so for this round, we wanted to just go ahead and touch on John Jones. He just won the championship last night, so we're just talking about our perspective on his interracial family, and is that a trend amongst successful black men, or is that a stereotype amongst successful black men? I'm gonna give my thoughts. OG, of course, is gonna give his thoughts and his wisdom. So, yeah, OG, we got UFC fighter John Jones. He's an amazing fighter, accomplished man.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the fight, he's walking over to his white wife and all pink and hugging her up and kissing her up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not wife, but fiance. Fiance with 3 kids. So this is your wife.
Your wife.
But,
yeah.
but so, yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Being a man that's seen celebrity for years, what do you think? Is that real or?
I mean, I think that everybody have the right to love who they want to love, but due with the history of how race relations in this country, how black men were. Let's go back. Let's look at Emmett Till, for instance. Emmett Till was 14 years old, and he was killed, brutally killed, because they say he looked at a white woman.
Right.
Throughout our history in this country, a lot of black men was hanged by a white woman saying that he did this to her.
Mm-hmm.
They were hung and killed. So the history of interracial with black men and white were very, very shady.
Super.
And
you think that's the reason why he's been with this woman for 15 years and refused to marry her? Partially?
It could be that.
Because
I don't know what's in that man's mind, but
he's a Christian brother. He came out, thank Jesus off the bat.
Uh-huh.
He got the Philippians 4:13 tattooed on his chest, but it's like, you shacking up, and you got 3 kids, interracial kids. They 15 years old, and you my fiance. Like, what is that about?
Well, you got a lot of men nowadays who don't want to get married, and it's like they always say. They said, if you can get the milk without the cow, hey, you take it.
He got the cow.
Sure. So if a woman is not upholding a certain standard of saying, listen, this is what I want for you. I want to be married. I'm not going to allow you to do this and this and that. I want you to be a wife. So, it's one of those things. And, most men, if you ain't pressing towards that as that marriage thing, some women, I mean, if a woman's not pressing the man towards that, man can go on and keep doing what he's doing.
Right.
Right. So
you think she's whining and nagging, or?
Well, every woman in their own way, no matter they want to be married, but like I said, if she doesn't really press that issue on you and this and that, and really say, hey, listen, this is what I want, and blah blah blah. But certain things should be established from the beginning. See, if like when men are very open with what they have to say.
Right.
If they don't like this, they don't like it. Women are more, I don't want to say secretive, but more closed into what they want to say.
They want you to read their mind.
They want you to read their mind, and they're not going to really tell you what they really feel.
Right.
So she from the beginning, may want to be married, but maybe she felt that, hey, look, if I threw this marriage card on him, he might not be with me and blah, 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 this and that. Uh-huh. But I think honesty is the best policy. You have, as a man or a woman, you have to, if you're going to be in a relationship with this person, you need to let them know, hey, listen, this is what I expect, this is my expectations, this is what I want, and so forth like that.
So that leads me to my next question. Yeah. If you think if she was a sister, you think she's gonna go for that, or is it just a white girl thing? Because I know a lot of white folks are a lot less religious.
I don't think it's a color. I think it's just the nature of a woman. You know, rather she's black, white, or whoever, this and that. You know, and, you know, I just think it's a general nature of a woman. I don't think it has to do with if you're white, black, or whatever. You know, this and that. You know,
A
women
general nature
aspire
of
for
a
that.
woman to do what?
Huh?
A general nature of a woman to do what?
To want to be married, to want to have, you know.
But she
settle
ain't
down.
that serious about being married because she ain't got no ring 15 years
Well, I
in.
mean, it's
They clearly hers.
Yeah, then you have to look at, you gotta look at what she, like I said, she didn't set a certain standard in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think if a woman sets a standard in the beginning and say this is what she will allow and what she won't allow, then
We could go for
right,
that.
right.
Okay.
They will, you know.
Beautiful family, no shade, no disrespect. But you know, it just perked my ears. I'm like, yo, you got 3 kids with this man.
Right.
He's
right.
accomplished, got all the money he could have,
Right.
want to have. So, you know, just
Yeah.
asking the questions that the people are thinking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. They say that Becky is more submissive and more, you know, just willing to ride it out. What are your thoughts?
I believe that.
Becky,
Yeah, they put on that they are more submissive, but in the end, I think if you do any woman wrong, she's gonna take you to court. She'll do what she had to do, this and that. You know, it's a flip side to that situation. You know, I think all black women have been given the thing of that a lot of them don't want to be submissive. I think it has to do with a lot of time with some of the trauma, some women they suffer throughout their life, sometimes not having a father in the home
right
to show them what it is to be what a true man should be.
Right. Examples are important.
Right, and then you know a mother be an example of how to treat a man. You know how to treat that husband or just a man in general. Because if you don't see your mother respecting your father as a man, then you're not going to respect other men.
Yeah, you're not going to know how to.
You're right. You're not going to know how.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we just live in a time that a lot of women were raised by their mothers, and how the relationship went.
Would you say women? Would you say women or black women?
I would say, majority black women.
Yeah. Because I think our stats are like 70% are born out of wedlock.
70% of them initiate divorce sometime. At least they say about 50% of black women are not married.
Right.
And
never been married.
Never been married.
Right.
This and that. So we have a high percentage of
singleness.
Singleness in our community, and I think what escalates the situation is that we are the society, the morality. Women are told education, money. Get education, get money, get your money, and then you get married. I believe that a woman from the time she's 18 up until in her 20s, this is the time when she should be searching to find a husband.
Yeah.
This and that. So
wow. 18 is
yeah, from 18 around 20 or so, because she's considered as
a woman.
As a woman.
So was it like that for you when you fresh graduated? A lot of your peers, female counterparts, was like looking for that guy?
No, I think it's something I learned later on in life that a lot of people don't really. When I started to understand about women and about relationships, sometimes it's good. I think it's good for you to be married when you're younger, because I say this: if we look at the financial situation. I'm not saying you should jump in, but I think in your 20s and so forth like that,
right,
you should be one. I think a man around 25, he should want to be getting married. A woman in her 18s and her 20s should be seeking for a husband, because those are the years you can grow together. You can grow mentally, financially, have a bond. If y'all both have a goal. If y'all going to school, you can graduate school and you can do that, and you can do certain things together. And I'm not saying right away have children, but just the both of y'all have a marriage where you can grow together and then eventually have goals to for jobs and for school and eventually have kids and so forth like that.
Yeah.
So
man, I don't know what happened, man. I think what a lot of folks in my peer group, a lot of them are staying in college for a while longer.
Yeah.
They get a master's, advanced degrees, trying to compete financially, but it delays life. It delays life.
Yeah.
I got
because you got to understand, particularly a woman has a certain time in her life where she can bear children safely. The older she gets, it becomes more harder for her to have children if she wants to have a family and everything like that. And so I think that I don't knock go to school, get your education. That's what you want to do, but you should also be looking to get married. Don't put your education and your job before and say, because the way society is now, women go to school, get their education, get their job, and by the time they get in their career, they're 25, almost 30. Then they want to start looking for a husband.
Start putting pressure on a brother.
Right. Putting pressure on them. And some guys are not ready to be married then, this and that, so.
And they're like, I don't even know you. Because you went to school in Houston, you great, but I don't know you.
Right. So
I don't know you.
Right.
You know?
So relationships take time, effort, energy, commitment. You gotta be willing to be committed to a relationship. Just like, you before you can get married, you gotta be friends. You gotta be able to say, hey, I can trust this man. I can trust this woman.
Right.
I can feel like, hey, this is somebody who I want to live with.
Yeah.
So, it has to be
a crazy thing too, OG, because the last thing you just said, you said this is somebody I could live with.
Right.
We got women and men living together everywhere, left and right.
And they're not compatible.
They're not compatible,
compatible.
You got these hobo guys that just need a place to be.
Yeah.
You got these women that want a babysitter, so they're like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah. And that's all.
By the time the lease ends, they know where to near each other.
Right.
So it's like I'm seeing more of that. It's not that they're not together. They're together.
Yeah.
They got
but in
somebody,
the wrong way.
In the wrong way.
Right. They're not together far as to build together.
Right.
And build a family, a unit.
Right. They're roommates.
Right.
They're roommates.
Yeah, they're roommates.
Until somebody piss somebody off.
Right. Somebody piss somebody off, then I'm gonna get out. You can get out of here. Whoever whose name is on that lease, hey, you can get on out.
Right.
This and that.
That's what they be coming down.
But that ain't the way it's supposed to be. I don't think. God did not plan that to be. God planned. That people would be married and have children and have, because you have to understand, you're trying to build a community, and that's why I think a lot of kids are kind of lost, because there's no they say it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
There's no sense of community, and when the parents are not together, then it affects how the community will grow, and how people will how society will be affected. So it's
because it changes how people relate to each other.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I don't know if it was always like this, but you got the Water Boys. We're in the city of Atlanta, so you got the Water Boys. They 15. Historically, I wouldn't assume a 15-year-old to be a threat. Right. Historically, I'll be like, hey, what's up, young man? Da, da, da. But now it's kind of like when I see them now, these are like rogue children. They just you don't know if they got a gun. You don't know what their intentions are. So I kind of want to cross the street like the white man would. I don't want to get caught up.
Right, you don't want to get in no confrontation because when you have a lack of family structure, when a boy from my experience, when a boy gets a certain age, he has to have some kind of male role model in his life. From the time he, becomes, I say 9, 10 years old. See, you don't become a man when you turn 21.
No.
You become a man as you grow up. and you have to have some guidance and leadership to develop you into the kind of man that you need to be. Yeah. But because we have such a great percentage of between 70-80% of single mothers, you know, boys are lack that male role models that they need to really, you know, help them develop into being a man. And so that's a big problem in our community, you know. And
how do we fix that going forward?
Well, I mean, we have it's gonna take us being a village, looking out for each other. You know, how when I came up, you know, if you did certain things in your community, somebody in the community is gonna say, "Oh, I saw Vincent break so and so window and this and that." Yeah. You know, you were more afraid of that person telling on you than actually knowing that if your mother found out, because they would probably tell before for your mother, you know, tell your mother, you know, that you did it. You know,
there was a network.
It was a network.
They on your ass.
Yeah. So they were on you. So, but unfortunately, we are not in that kind of society now, because you have a lot of parents, even in school. If a teacher tries to correct a child, you got the parents coming up there acting all mad and crazy. Don't say nothing to my child and everything like that. Yeah. Don't talk to my child this way. But you know, all I am is trying to correct your child from doing wrong. You know, so I think the moral fiber of what our society, the morals have dropping down so low that, you know, we can't even, you know, some parents are even afraid to discipline their children, you know, because they think, you know, of the outcome and everything like that, you know. So I can't base it on a lot of times. I only can go by what was instilled in me, you know, and it kept me, you know. It worked for you. It worked for me, but you know, now it's just a different time, and you know, I believe the only thing, you know, for me, I try to, you know, when I meet young people, try to, you know, young kids, teenagers, and everything like this, try to talk with them and just try to, you know, be an example to them, you know. Sometimes I may be the only father figure that they know, and even guys younger than me, like yourself, Rollo. There's always a young boy that you can, you know, kind of mentor and talk to, and this and that, you know, because we have to understand this. You might have 5 boys, and 1 or 2 of them gonna hear what you gotta say. Now the other 3 may not want to hear it, but trust me, it's 1 or 2 that's listening, and something you might say might be able to help them not go on a certain path, you know. So that's why I say it's important to develop young boys into being leaders and not followers, and not saying that you got to follow your friends and get yourself in situations that you get, because it's easy. It's always easy to get in trouble, but it's the hardest thing to get out of trouble. So hard, you know. So, you know, we have to just let young men know that, hey, listen, aspire to be a leader, not a follower. You know, aspire to have your own mind. You know, use your own mind. You know, I think that we have to tell young people that, hey, listen, you know, you don't have to go on that, and encourage them to be. What do you want to be? I don't believe in that as with the talent that we have as a people, that being rappers and athletes is the only thing. You know, we need to encourage our children to be engineers and doctors and lawyers, and because these are things we need. These are part, you know, to be agricultural, you know, even farming, things like that. Because this was we have to focus on nation building our nation, building our people up, and so you need everybody. You can't have just everybody be a rapper and everybody be an athlete. You know, if you're trying to build a nation, you need everybody from different walks of life, every person's talent and gift that God gives them, and to be used to build
right
as a people, you know.
Amen to that, man. Because
you know,
we got so much to offer, man, and everybody else is capitalizing off of what we have to offer.
Right,
and,
right.
And it's funny how we the same people who go out and make the wheels turn for everyone else, but when it comes to us, we feel like we can't do it.
And that's a lack of knowledge of self.
Yes.
See, when you have knowledge of self, you take the limitations off yourself. So when you know who you are and know what you bring, the scripture says this, that God gives you the power to obtain wealth.
Yeah.
He gives you the ideas, the creativity to gain wealth and to set yourself in whatever your gift is. Because a man's gift will make room for him. So you have to learn to be connected with the Most High God, with His Spirit, so He can develop and show you your gifts, and you can use those gifts in the world and make the world a better place and make society and be productive in society. So there are things in us as a people. We don't have to just settle for certain things, but we want to settle for things because we don't know our value, we don't know our self-worth of each other. So when you find out who you are, and that's why I say it's very important to know your history, to know who you are, and to see great people, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, Marcus Garvey, Francis. I said Malcolm, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Francis Chris Wilson. You know, just so many great people that we can pattern after and say, you know, because they left the blueprint there for us.
Right.
It's just a matter of us picking up the blueprint and just using it. But we don't, you know, we say, well, what should we do to change our community? Well, these great people left the blueprint there for us to do. It's just a matter we just need to pick it up and copy and use that blueprint.
Yeah.
You know,
and
we have to, you know, it's just unfortunately that our experience in this country, slavery and all the things that we deal with, you know, just convict list and Jim Crow and all the things we dealt with, it's left a psychological effect on us. You know, a lot of us feel like we can't do it, but we can do it. With the help of God and believing in yourself, you can do anything. You know, and that's what I tell young people, man. You can be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
One thing Barack Obama inspired young people to believe, know that I could be a president. I could be the next president of the United States.
That's true.
You know, I can be this. I can do that. You know, so that's what we have to instill in our young people. You know, a sense of value, that you are important. You matter.
Yeah.
You know. So
and it's funny because I see the black women, they're achieving like at higher levels, higher. They all got something they doing on the side. It's like they get it. But with the brothers, it's like they're castrated. It's like they beat the self-esteem out of them. They don't like them in the school. They're trying to put them on ADHD medicine. They trying to. So I'm just like, where do we stop the bus and change and implement? Because one, they took God out the schools. The social media distractions.
I remember that. I remember when you know you do before you. I think before or after you did the Pledge of Allegiance, you would say prayer.
Yeah.
You know. This and that. So I know when they did
that changed.
Yeah, that changed.
In your lifetime, you've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I'm seeing young black boys being further and further from God, and it's just like the only thing that kept me sane a lot of times was my religious upbringing.
Right.
So
I don't know
the same with me help
too.
Them. You know, I don't know what's going to help them.
Yeah,
and I don't even feel comfortable now with the era and environment we're in, where I could walk up to a little boy and talk about God. You know, I don't know what the consequences of that is, because you got these mothers that's like, don't talk to my son about, you know what I'm saying, cut his hair and send him home.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah,
now.
that's
So
it's a tough situation, but there are ways around that. I mean, we have to involve ourselves in the community, like I say, with after school programs. Thank God when I came, we had after school programs, we had basketball, we had different things where you can involve yourself, you can mentor, you can volunteer and do certain things, and so there are ways around it. You just have to want to do the work, and a lot of people don't really want to do the work because they feel like, well, that's not my child. But no, if we're part of a village, that child is your child, because the reason why I say that is because if that child you see and grows up, he ends up doing something that's wrong, it could be an adverse effect on your community and
your children,
right? Your children and everything like that, right. So we all have a part to play. We all have a responsibility. Like I said, no man is an island. Everybody, is a part of that island. We all have to be a part of each other, and want to be helpful to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I see it. I just try to, I mean, you know me, man.
I see you cooking all the time, and I knowing that he lives what he's saying right now.
Yeah.
That's what drew me to OG. Because there's plenty of times he'll strike up a conversation with somebody he never seen before, and pour into that person.
Yeah.
So he lives it, and I'm trying my best to be like him and live it too. I'm trying to volunteer.
I'm glad I inspire you, man.
Most definitely.
I just like to inspire people, man, to make them just be the best version of themselves.
Most definitely.
And that's important.
Most definitely. One thing about being in the barbershop, you hear a lot of guys talk, about what we up against. Right. Everybody bringing up problems.
Right.
But it's like, if we all know the problems, why come nobody coming up with no solutions? That's kind of feminine. That's kind of like we're supposed to be the head,
men. God gives men to be hunters and of action.
Right.
So we have to, as men, come together and say, what action should we take to make change happen? So I think
we got to be about it.
We have to be about it. Yeah, you can't
just.
If words is just words, but if you're not about the work, it's not. It's not profitable. So we have to. You just need enough men. Well, you don't need a whole bunch of men. You just need a few that's willing to be committed to say, listen, this is what we're going to try to do.
Right.
This is what we want to do, So,
and that itself is a blessing, because even if you don't feel like you have the time or the know-how to do that, you could get behind the guy who's doing it. Support him in his efforts. And
say, hey, listen, man, I support you, man, this and that, and
it's a good endeavor.
Give you a perfect example. I told you every year we go up to Michigan to a men's retreat, and we bring a lot of young guys, and some young guys don't have the money, so we put up the money, help them come, and we there for 3 days, and we have they have all kind of basketball and swimming and everything like that, but we have service, 3 days, 3 nights, 3 times a day, we'll eat breakfast all together, and then, an hour later we'll have a service until lunchtime. We'll eat the lunch. During that time, the guys go out and they can do what they want to do. If you can be in your cabin, you want to sleep, or you want to go swimming, or whatever you want to do. But the whole thing is men all together, young men and older men. We join together, and it's I've been going to that for a few years, and
that's big, man.
It's a blessing, man, because you get to connect with the younger brothers. The older brothers get connected with the younger ones. The younger ones connect with the older ones, and it's just a beautiful and it's just something when men all come together, man. It's just like you're walking in the purpose of God when men are together and on one accord and just have
It's an energy.
It's an energy.
It's like something's happening. They doing something over there.
Right.
And I feel like everybody knows that.
Right.
You know, because it's not often you'll see like 5 or 6 brothers together and you're not conscious and aware of it.
Right.
If you're a white woman, you might clutch your purse and get scared. You know, you might
feel
ridiculous, but you can feel it. You can feel it. Like, regardless of your ignorance or whatever, you feel like, okay, these are men and they're together in harmony for a purpose. Right. Whether it be evil or good, you can feel that presence and power.
We must understand, you know, in the beginning, God, you know, He made the heaven and earth, and He created man in the likeness and His image. So we, as men and as human beings, or you know, we always long to have a relationship and a connection to God. So when you put God first, you know, like I said, it's God, God, man, and then the woman. So it's a certain order, you know. So when we're out of order, then it just disturbs the whole process, you know. So but when you're in order with God, God can bless and move in your behalf, you know. So I just think that, you know, we have to get in order, and it begins with the man, because we you know, when God came through the Garden of Eden, he didn't ask for the woman, He asked for man.
Right.
He said, you know what happened here? Adam. He addressed Adam first.
Yeah.
Then He dealt with the situation with the woman. You know, because God gave him the authority and the leadership to oversee the garden.
Right.
So, as men, we have to understand that, you know, we are the leaders. We are supposed to be the example of what a man should be, what a family should be, how to raise our children, how our women should respect us and look to us and everything like that. So, you know, it's a lot, but with the help of God, we can do all things, you know. So that's what I believe.
Yeah, we can do it sometimes. Yeah. We got it though. We're gonna do the right thing. We're just gonna keep putting out these gems, you know, that have been passed down from him to me to y'all, you know.
Right.
And we just gonna fight and combat all the nonsense, all the Lil Nas X, all the you know, all the confusion that's going on in our era right now. Yeah, it's like
we're dealing with a lot.
I'm all for everybody's rights, but let's keep the main thing, you know. Let's keep us, cause I feel like we hanging on a cliff right now.
Oh yeah. Well, masculinity is
under
attack, and they, you know, this society doesn't want masculinity to prevail, but masculinity will prevail because God made us to be men. You know, He said, you know, He made us to be leaders, and we're gonna do with God. So we will, as men, accomplish what He wants in our lives. You know, and we all together, working together, you know, is unity, there's strength, and iron sharpens iron.
Right.
So as we would work together, we sharpen each other. We're making each other better.
Yes,
when I pour into you, you pour into the next person, and vice versa. So that's how we get strong.
Yes, sir.
You know,
it's trickle down righteousness.
Yeah.
Right there.
Right. Trickle down. Yeah.
Trickle it down.
Yeah. This is, you know, that's how it is. So we have to just you know, really we are our brother's keepers.
Definitely.
You know, I don't care where you from. If you a black man, rather you come from Africa, I come from America, but you my brother.
Right.
So I'm concerned about you, and you should be just as concerned about me. And we should be concerned about the next man, you know, and make sure that, hey, listen, I got your back, brother, you know.
Right.
You know, and it's just sad that sometimes we can't correct each other because some of us get into our feelings and you know and think, oh man, you know, it's
into that femininity.
Yeah, that femininity.
Yeah,
right. You walking in that feminine energy, man.
All day.
But real men, you know, check each other.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, iron sharpens iron.
Right.
Yeah, I'm making you better. I'm telling you something that, hey, man, you
That's
know,
right.
and there's a way to do it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to come at you disrespect out in front of. No, I can pull you aside, yo, brother.
Right.
You know, hey, man, you know, that wasn't too cool, man. You know,
Uh-huh.
I think you could have handled it that way.
Uh-huh.
And you can respect me more when I'm coming to you as a man instead of not trying to embarrass you or make. It's not about us trying to embarrass or demean each other as men.
Right.
It's about us helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, making us better. You know, because
Exactly.
there might be something that you might see in me that I'm doing wrong, but you should not be afraid to come to me.
Right.
And vice versa. We should be
no.
able, not because I'm older and I think I know, because I don't know everything. You know.
Right.
I'm still, you know, like I always tell you, I'm a student, man. I'm a student of life, man. So I'm constantly learning, and I'm open to learn. You know,
Right.
so.
And I appreciate that about you.
You know, so you know, I have to.
And I learned how to be when I'm your age. I know,
right.
This guy was like this, so like maybe
Yeah,
I should
you know,
humble myself when I get to that
stature. Because you know something, I was in a lot of situations in my life and I saw, and if I didn't conduct myself in a certain way, I wouldn't even be here to talk to you today or talk to the people here today.
Man.
So I had to learn, like, you know, there's a time to talk, there's a time to be quiet, there's a time to diffuse situations.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Sometimes you know you can't allow your ego and your pride get the best of you. Some things you can just diffuse. Hey man, you know, and it could be, hey brother, you know something. Man, I apologize, man.
Yeah.
You know, what does it take for another man to say, hey, I'm sorry, man. I made a mistake. I apologize for this.
Simple.
You know? Very simple.
Yeah.
And most men who are real men, they can respect that. They can say, hey, yeah, all right, brother, you know, I appreciate you know this and that. Because sometimes you do things and sometimes you may not know, but to say you're sorry doesn't take away from you being a man. It doesn't take away your masculinity. It makes you a better man. It makes you a man that you're willing to acknowledge that, hey, listen, I could be wrong, man.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So, that's a man that I could trust.
Yeah.
Because I know he's not going to jump off the edge.
Right.
But a guy that's constantly trying to bulletproof and perfect who he wants us to think he is, you're going to do anything to uphold that image, and that's dangerous.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
You know?
And you know, like I always tell you, as black men, we can't walk. We have to walk a certain way. In other words, the way we walk and how we carry ourselves, you know, has to be different from other people, because, you know, this society wants to make us a target of everything, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, is it right? No, it's not right. Sometimes we get angry, but sometimes there's a way, you know, we have to deal with our anger and be able to present ourselves in a way and say, hey, listen, I know that you're trying to do this to me, but I'm not that person. You know, all my life, because of being a black man, I was prejudged because they felt like, oh, he's this and this and that. So, and I knew that, but it didn't change me. See, you can't, if you a person of character and have integrity, you're gonna stand on those principles and those values. Yes. So no matter what somebody else try to tell me, say, oh, you this and this and that. No, that's not me. Because you don't define me. Your words will never define me.
Yeah.
You know? So I define who I am.
Right.
As a man.
Right.
So those are the things we have to realize as men. Nobody else can define you but you. And I don't have to answer. Yes, in society we have laws. I'm not saying you answer the laws, this, that, you, this, that. But in the final end, God is my judge.
Right.
Of everything with me, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, but we have to, but like I said, that comes from you having knowing your wealth. I mean, knowing your value and your wealth and who you are. When you have value of yourself and know that you are, you know, you can deal with a lot of situations that come your way, and you don't have to fold on them and fall apart, you know. But you got to know who you are, you know.
Yes, sir.
So when you know those things, man, hey, listen.
Can't nobody stand in the way.
That's right. Yeah. Nobody can take it away from you. Yeah. You can be happy and live, man. You know,
that's so true.
It's about life, man. I'm sitting there. Look, I'm 63, man. I'm sitting. I never dreamed in a lifetime that I'll be talking to the world, man. Mm-hmm. Man, I appreciate you from the time I met you. I don't know me. You just had that connection,
it
man.
Just clicked in, man.
Yeah, you know, and I appreciate you, man. You don't know how much I appreciate you, man. Because you don't even have to be doing this for me, man. But I appreciate it, man, because I get to talk to people, man. Maybe what I'll say is help somebody. I pray to God it does help somebody. You know, and you know. We'll see how many likes and everything.
You said that I'm doing this for you. I'm not doing this for you. You're doing this for me. Like every time we talk, I learn something.
That's my humility in me, man. Because you know, I'm very grateful, man. Like you know, remember I told you, older man told me when I was in my 20s. He said, "Young man, you know," he said to me, "Man, I'm just grateful to be here. I'm just thankful and this and that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean, Pop? You know?" He said, "You'll understand as you get older." And as you get older and you live through life, man, the little things you took for granted, you learn to appreciate them more, man. Wow. So I'm just appreciative, man. You know, really,
I see
man.
And I'm appreciative that you're passing it down because it's like you're seeing places that I haven't seen yet.
Well, see, this is what I say. Knowledge is nothing if you don't share the knowledge.
Right.
What's me saying I have all this knowledge in my head, but if I'm not using it to share to help somebody.
Right.
And that's why God gives you knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, and understand. It's for you to share. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not for you to hold in and keep to yourself for what?
Right.
Because it serves no purpose.
Right.
You know? So, you know, I'm just grateful that I'm able to share, man. You know?
Sure. Because it's been times in my life where it's like we're 30 years removed from each other. So it's been times where I get to a point on my path and I'm like, damn, I'm in the wilderness right now. Like nobody in front of me is telling me, oh yeah, this happens. But when I talk to you, you'll be like, oh yeah. Like you'll be I remember that tree back there that was bent like this.
Right.
And I'm like, damn,
and
this shit has been happening for years.
Right.
And it's crazy.
Right.
Because it's like in our current society, they try to separate us from our older men.
Right.
But it's like I'm just
that's
privileged.
The bridge. That's the bridge that brings us together. Yeah. And trust me, if a bridge is not brought together, it's not strong.
Right.
So you need the young and you need the old. Mm-hmm. You know, the scriptures say that God said, "I call the old because they're wise and know the way. I call the young because they're strong." Right. So we, the young and the old, must come together because I may have a certain wisdom, you have the strength. Mm-hmm. So I'm pouring into you, you pouring into me, and that's what bridges the gap.
Right.
You know,
and
between
I love
us. So that's very important.
I love that dynamic, and we had to make this happen because it's like I'm receiving and I'm feeling selfish because I know I got peers. I got all my homeboys, man. They ain't having this conversation. It's not happening with them.
Well, they got it on.
They got it on camera now.
They can, you know
what I'm saying.
And you know me, man. I'm always open to talk to anybody, man.
And I love that about you.
Yeah.
So it's just so crazy because like I'm so new in life. I only been an adult 12 years now. I'm 30 years old, so. Right. I have 12 years of adulthood, and the first couple don't even really count. You know what I'm saying?
No, it counts. Everything counts.
Yeah, it counts.
Every experience in your life counts. From
sure.
the time you're small, the fact that when you're born in this world, every stage of your life does count. Some is more important than others, but I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
but so like certain things that I'm telling OG in private, maybe that we won't say on camera or whatever.
Right.
The expression on his face is just like, oh yeah. Like, that happens. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting there like, damn.
Yeah, man.
Like, this has been happening for years. Man. Generations. Same nonsense.
There's nothing. Hey, listen. The wisest man in the world, Solomon, said there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So it's just a different time period.
Yes.
But basically, we all have gone through certain things and stages in our lives,
And hurdles.
But, and hurdles.
Because human nature doesn't change.
No, and human nature doesn't change.
It just might be internet.
People, the time change and this and that. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, there was no internet and all that. Right. We had cassette tapes and 8-track and all that stuff. Like that. We had rotary phones. You know what I'm saying?
Betamax.
Huh?
Betamax? No?
Nah, we had no Betamax.
Nah.
Nah, we had, rotary. I came up with it was
The
rotary
rotary,
phone. Where the rotary phone, you pick up the phone, man, and somebody could be tapping on your phone, or you can hear a person on this side talking, and you'd be like, no, they'd be like, can you hang up the phone, please? I'm sorry,
My bad, I get out your way.
Right, there was no cell phones and all this stuff, man. It was just I came through all those times, man.
All those evolutions.
Yeah, them evolutions. So
and in those evolutions, I feel like simple things get lost sometimes.
Yeah,
because our minds are so. We thinking about Mars. We thinking about what happened in Turkey, but we're not thinking about how we relate to each other.
Right.
And that's
know what it is. This to me, most of the world now, people go by texting each other and this and that, but it takes away from the intimate connection of people talking face to face.
Most definitely.
And that's very important. It's just like when you sit down with your family a certain time. When I came up, it was a certain time we ate.
Really,
and
like mandatory be here.
Yeah, you got to be here to eat. It wasn't about us just eating. It's about friends and family. How was your day? How was school? How was this and that? And those things are important. So we are so disconnected in this world now. People don't do those things, man. But I think in my life, the things I suffered, death of people in my family, my wife and my mother and dad and this and that. It makes me appreciate life more. Those little things are important, and so I instill those things into my daughter and my grandkids and tell them, these things are important, So
irreplaceable moments.
Yeah. And because there's some moments that you'll never get back in life.
Never.
Yeah,
never.
Once they're gone, they're gone.
For sure.
So that's why you got to cherish life and cherish the moments that you spend with your parents and with your father and your cousins and this and that. That's why family reunions and stuff is so important, because it's a time y'all can all the family can come together and talk about when y'all was little and when you did this, when you grew up with your cousins and y'all did this and this. Those things are very important,
Yes, sir.
So
any last things or parting words for the people?
Well, all I want to say to the people, I'm very grateful to God, to the Most High God, to His Son Jesus, and that He allowed me to even speak to y'all. And I hope whatever I said today was helpful, that somebody will be helped and blessed by what I said, and hopefully your life will be changed. And I just want you to know that there's always hope. Don't ever give up hope. Don't ever just say there's no hope. There's always hope. And your words have creative power. The things that you speak into your life are the things that you will get. If you want a business, you must speak it into life, into existence. If you want that car, you want that relationship, you want marriage, whatever you want, you have to begin believe it in your heart and in your mind, and speak those things that what you want, and they'll happen for you, because they happened for me in my life. So God bless everybody. It was an honor and a privilege to talk to y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day.
Until the next one, y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. This was something a little different from we normally put on the channel, but I just had to get this done, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope this was very effective for y'all. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Hopefully OG will be back for another one.
Yeah.
All right now.
Anytime, my brother.
That's